Now, anybody who knows anything about cars knows Camrys can last a long time, but people say, oh, they're boring, I don't want a boring Camry. Well, let's see. They really don't look boring anymore. They really up their designs. Wheels, the average is about 37, the top's about 40. Plenty of power and great gas mileage. And it has tried and true technology. First of all, it has a real key. And under the hood, it has a 4-cylinder inline engine connected to an automatic transmission that is not a CVT. It is not one of those CVTs that shift weird, feel weird. It is an 8-speed transmission, an actual automatic transmission. Now, in the past, when Toyota started putting multi-speed automatics, some people whined, I don't like the way it feels. They go for gas mileage, yes. And the earlier ones, sometimes they'd hunt between gears. We'll see how this one goes, but all the newer ones that I've tried out, they don't have the hunting problems that the old one does. Understand one thing about Toyota. They build something and they gradually work at perfection. They've been making Camrys a long time. They see something's wrong, they fix it. The original Camrys, yes, they were kind of ugly. They did run forever. They tried different variants when they tried those Lyras that were kind of fancy ones. Some of them were convertibles. But their basic 4-door transportation car has just basically gotten better and better as time goes on. They find problems, they perfect them. They're not like the Americans who, well, that model didn't work, let's throw that away, let's try something else. No, they have a different philosophy in Japan. They want to gradually improve how they make things. Now, granted, in the past, they weren't much on style. Well, they certainly have gone way past that, and their style has changed immensely. Nice interior, black and chrome, and of course, it's a 4-door. Plenty of room in the back, and at the same time, they have a really good combo of rideability and handling. Some people who really want handling, yeah, you wouldn't buy this. You'd buy the Camry TRD. It's got a much stiffer suspension, corners like a scalded ape. I mean, they really are fun to drive. But I took my wife on a ride in a TRD. She hated it. And she's driving a 20-year-old Lexus. She likes a nice, smooth ride. I take her for rides in regular Camrys. She loves it. It's just that the TRD has a really set-up suspension system so you can zoom around like a lunatic. That's not Toyota's market with this Camry. It's for people who want a nice 4-door car that can run forever. I see them all the time, 5, 6, 700,000 miles on it. Change your oil every 5,000 miles. These things will generally last indefinitely. This 2.5-liter engine is excellent. Of course, it's got a timing chain on it. And the small problems that Toyota had ages ago, like my grandson's 2007 Camry that's got that horrible 4-cylinder engine that they made for a few years that burnt oil like mad, that's way in the past. These aren't oil burners. And as we go inside, start her up. I notice they've improved their interface here. It used to be it sat up too high. Now, from where I sit, it doesn't block the window at all. It's more integrated. I would like it a little bit lower myself. I would have designed it a little bit lower, but that's what Toyota's doing. Fancy automatic transmission. You can go eco mode, normal mode, sport, or if you want, you can shift it yourself. Very easy to use. And since it has an actual automatic transmission, you are actually shifting gears. This isn't a CVT that's pretending to shift gears to the marvels of modern computers and hydraulics. This is actually shifting gears. We'll try it out later. Now the seats are faux leather, but they're very comfortable, and this stuff tends to last quite some time. I really like the combination because nothing wears like fabric, so the stuff you're sitting on is really comfortable, but it's still got a leather look to it. And I personally kind of like this. It doesn't have a sunroof because I personally think sunroofs are the dumbest thing on earth. What do you want a sunroof for? It just gets heat in. And anyways, with a solid roof, you're safer. That's part of the strength of the vehicle, a solid roof. I would rather have a solid roof over my head than some stupid sunroof that might shatter if something bad happens. You can see it's got the automatic high beams. You can turn the traction control off if you want. Simple setup, heating and air conditioning. I hate when they have all this stuff hidden up here on the computer. We got to scroll through a bunch of crap to get the heater or the AC on. This to me makes more sense. There's the defrost. Automatic. You can set the temperatures very simply. Turn it off if you want. Turn it on again. Then when you change the speed, you just push the button here. You're not pushing your fingers all over. Much easier to operate. So let's take it for a spin. It's smooth as can be. Decent backup camera. Nothing outrageous, but yeah, it's a decent camera. Typical Camry. Smooth. Shifts like a dream, like I say. These don't hunt for gears. And this is just a normal. It's not a TRD, but you want to zoom around. There's another one. They're everywhere. Same color, too. So you can get 40 miles a gallon on a highway, and it's getting 37 around the city with a regular transmission. You don't have to sacrifice power and smoothness for a CVT. This is power and smoothness, and it's an actual automatic, like I said. And as we go down the road, we'll try the old brakes. ABS works phenomenal. And here we go to our little drag strip. We're almost there. Makes a nice throaty sound too. It's not dull like the old Camrys. It leaves a little bit of sound. And nobody's behind us, so we can come to a stop. And we'll turn the traction control off. And here we go. Smooth shifting, listen to it. You can barely feel it shift. Like I said, these new multi-speed transmissions Toyota has, they got most of the bugs out of them. But just for giggles, let's put it in manual shifting. Here we are in second gear. Ooh, that was pretty fast. Downshift. Hey, it downshifts quick. Look at that. Hey, I gotta say, the manual is not like the older ones. They had kind of a time lag. This thing is crisp. It shifts manually smooth. Now, when it's an automatic, yeah, it shifts perfectly smooth then. But if you want to have a little sporty fun, just put it in a manual shifting. And you can see it's got lane departure because, see, it's warning us. Warning, warning, do not drive over the yellow line. Warning, warning. Well, I'm getting older. Maybe I need that now. I don't know. Then again, my wife said I needed it years ago. Well, in my defense, it isn't that easy to drive fast, film, talk, and think at the same time without running into something. And as we come to a stop, nice and smooth. And look, it's not turning itself off. I love that. I hate that auto start-stop. I find it annoying, and I think Toyota understands that many Americans find it annoying, so this doesn't have it. I love that. Most of them you can turn them off by pushing the button, but you got to keep pushing the stupid button. I have it in eco mode. Let's see what that does. I don't know. It doesn't seem eco to me. It's still got plenty of pickup. Some of those eco modes are slow. Hey, it didn't slow it down one iota. It's got the modern conveniences right there. It's telling you the speed limit, and unfortunately you can also see it from the passenger side, so my wife would see how fast I was going over the limit. Well, you can't have everything. Usually the heads-up display, this doesn't have it. You can't see from that side, so I would rather have a heads-up display that has a speed limit on the windshield where I can see it and my wife can't. Now, even though this isn't the Camry TRD with the really trick suspension, this thing still is fun to drive in the twisties. It still has pretty crisp handling, no particular over or under steer. Of course, it's beeping at me now because I'm not using the turn signal while I'm playing around. Now watch, I'll put the turn signal on. Now it won't beep because it knows I have my turn signal on. So I guess that system won't help those crazy people that are driving down the highway with their turn signal all the time, because it won't beep at them if they go over the line because they have their turn signal on. So machines can't keep fools from themselves. Realize that. They're not miracles. Fools will still continue being fools, whether computers are advising them or not. So there you have it, a 2022 Camry. Now, the owner traded in a Mustang that had 14,000 miles. Not because the Mustang was falling apart, but because he didn't like 13 miles a gallon anymore. And he's getting almost 40 on this thing. And he says this is just as much fun to drive around. It really handles quite well. And I do have to say, for all the people that whined about Toyota multi-speed automatic transmissions, hunting for gears and not feeling right, this feels perfect. Whether it's by itself, extremely smooth, or putting it in manual and really zooming it. That's what impressed me, because the older ones, you'd shift them up and down manually, there'd be a a little bit of a wait, sometimes even a second, for it to go up or down in gear. Felt sloshy. This didn't feel sloshy, because realize this is not a CVT transmission. It isn't doing fake gear changes, because CVTs don't have gears. It is changing actual gears. It's going 5, 6, 6, 5, 4, whatever. It says on the dash what it is, but it actually works like most things Toyota. It doesn't look boring. It doesn't drive boring. And really, he's got 30 grand into this thing. The average car is now 49 grand for a new one. Ha, pretty good deal if you ask me. Honda CR-V hybrid, top of the line from Ontario. It was made in Ontario, so why not get one from Ontario, right? He paid 48 Canadian dollars, so that's less than American dollars. All-wheel drive, and it's a hybrid. Now, if you're gonna buy one of these things, you got two choices now. Open the hood, I'll explain. And look, this isn't a cheapie. There's no little metal rod. It's got hydraulics on it, so hey. It is a 2-liter Honda engine. It's the Atkinson cycle to get better gas mileage. And it's a hybrid, so it's got an electric motor and it's got a battery in the trunk. The choice for this is a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. Something this big, 1.5 isn't enough, so of course they turbocharged it. Well, I don't like little turbocharged engines. They won't last as long. In the real world, they won't get the gas mileage they advertise now. It gets 40 miles a gallon in a city and 36 on the highway, because it's a hybrid. It regenerates electricity. You can't really argue that. And these are real figures. This isn't some made-up crap. This is what he actually gets. And when you look inside, you can see it's got a lot of room. The fake leather seats, which of course will last longer. And for those who feel cramped to space, check it out. Look, it actually goes a little more than 90 degrees. You got a lot of room to get in and out the back seat. It isn't one of these you're squeezing in to get in. Hey, don't even get me talking about this Polaris, man. Climbing in and out of this thing is a chore. And it doesn't even have doors. It's all-wheel drive. And from my experience with the Hondas and their hybrids, they're pretty much like Toyotas. They're extremely dependable. You take care of them, they can last an awful long time. Even though I'm not really a fan of hybrid, because I keep my cars 20, 30, 40 years, and I know how much it costs to fix that stuff. I've got all the new equipment for working on them, and I know it costs a fortune. Something like this probably won't break down till it gets, I don't know, 150, 180, 200,000 miles or more. So you're happy with that. Yeah. But I'm happy with 3, 4, 500,000 miles. So I'm a cheapskate. So in that case, personally, I wouldn't buy this or its sister ship because it's a 1.5 turbo. I definitely would not buy a 1.5 turbo. It's going to wear out a lot faster. This engine is an Atkinson cycle. They put out actually less horsepower. That's why it needs the electric boost. But they can last a really long time. They don't have all this turbocharged rammed air that's going to wear them out faster like the 1.5 liter turbo does. So if you really are looking at longer life with this, you'd probably be better off getting a hybrid than getting a 1.5 liter turbo engine. Plus, in the real world, you're going to get a lot better gas mileage. Try finding something like this. It's just nice that gets 40 miles a gallon in town. Good luck. Now, they've been selling the heck out of CR-Vs for decades, right? It's number 2 in the United States to the RAV4, which is its main competitor. They both offer hybrids. You know, the only difference is the RAV4 offers an actual automatic transmission, but as this owner just told me, he's got a friend who's got a new RAV4 fancy multi-speed transmission. He didn't like driving it because it's doggy, and I gotta admit, it gets phenomenal gas mileage. We rented one in Death Valley. We got like 55 miles a gallon going 50 miles an hour. Park had a lower speed limit, so we went slower, right? So it got phenomenal gas mileage, but it did not have the acceleration this thing has, because this does have a CVT transmission. All the hybrids I've ever seen have a CVT transmission, but it's an eCVT transmission. Now, if you want to just test it out yourself, you're thinking about buying one, hey, you can listen to me. I'll give you all the technical specs, but I am not your rear end sitting there and driving it. Road testing to see what you like, because the Honda CR-V that has the regular CVT and a 1.5 turbo gasoline engine, you're going to find out that this thing shifts a heck of a lot better than that one does. because this has an eCVT and the other one just has a normal CVT. Honda doesn't offer automatic transmissions in those anymore. You know, if you want an automatic transmission, you'd have to go to a RAV4. Not the hybrid RAV4, because the hybrid is a CVT. It's an eCVT just like this thing is. Of course, it has all the modern conveniences, you know. You kick it and it opens. I kicked it and it stopped. We'll kick it again. And it's warning you. It's not as fast as me, but, you know, and it's got the giant hydraulics because it's opening and closing itself. And you can see he's got the security flap there. I like that. And there's plenty of room for what you're carrying. And if you're not carrying a bunch of people, just like our Matrix, pop the seats down. You got tons of room for carrying stuff with. Let's see if it'll close now. It doesn't like me. Let's take it for a spin and see what this hybrid does. First thing I gotta say is the seats are ultra comfy. And they're gonna stay comfy because they're not leather, they're fake leather. Of course I have this, I'm not a fan, but it's got a push button. And it has an electric parking brake. Well, what can you do? Got a nice wide angle lens. Camera for the backup so you can see the lights matrix. It is a nice backup camera. Check it out, so. We're going to put it into sport mode. Tells you right there it's in sport mode. And you can hear the noise. Listen, the angels are with us. As you can see, it's got a really nice heads-up display here. I like the gauges too. Not only do you have your speedometer on the right, but you also have it there. And he switched it over to miles per hour because he's driving the United States. And of course it has the 50 limit because you can see, okay, this thing goes to 220, right? No, it's not the only CR-V hybrid that does 220 miles an hour. That's 220 kilometers an hour. And it's brand new, everything's good in it. Now, these roads in Rhode Island, I say, are terrible. And, okay, you feel some of the bumps. It is an SUV, but it rides perfectly fine. On the flat road, it's totally smooth. When you get a somewhat high, somewhat boxy vehicle, you're always going to get a little rough riding when you get on really crappy roads. Now we're at the opening here, and there's nobody on the right, so we'll wait to the left, and here we go. Woo! Hey, it makes a nice sound too. Let me tell you, a lot of these are too quiet. Honda wasn't stupid. This has a dual exhaust on it, and it really makes a good sound. With the hybrid engine, it's got plenty of oomph. Now, you're not going to be getting 40 miles a gallon if you drive like I just did, but when you want to, you can. And being a Honda, you know, it's going to handle perfectly fine. They sell an awful lot of these CR-Vs. There's a lot of reasons why. Originally, Honda was way behind Toyota with hybrids. The Prius just blew them away. Honda couldn't give away their little hybrids. I remember seeing showroom floors full of them in Houston, and they put them in the lots. They couldn't sell them. But they pretty much caught up with Toyota now. Of course, it's whisper quiet when you're just going slow. And realize it's not a plug-in hybrid. It doesn't drive around miles and miles on the battery. It's a boost system that works quite well to get better gas mileage, and you can twirl around really slow for a little while on electricity. But you won't be going far or fast. Smooth ride, but when you want power, there it goes. And of course, it's got all the modern conveniences, lane departure, you can see the picture over there. All that stuff. I don't trust my life or any of them, but I mean, it comes in handy if you're not paying attention. So there you have it, a brand new CR-V, the hybrid version. Phenomenal gas mileage, nice zippy pickup. Certainly Honda dependability wasn't all that bad because that's 48,000 Canadian dollars, smooth ride, phenomenal gas mileage, lots of space. If you're looking for a hybrid SUV, I'd say road test this and road test the RAV4. And buy the one you like, because they're both well made, right? This is a bit zippier than the RAV4 is. Or you might be a Toyota fan, you want to get a Toyota. You know, you might want a Toyota automatic transmission, but from my experience, you're going to pay a little bit more for the Toyota hybrid. They're really in demand, and around here, they're going for 5-10 grand over sticker, and he actually paid less than sticker for this. Maybe it's just the Canadians being nice, you know, and East Coast Americans not being so nice, but I mean, either way you look at it, this thing was made in Ontario, it stays in Ontario, and hey, I'm impressed. This thing was made in Ontario and it still runs forever, so what the heck? Honda's been making Hondas in Ohio forever, and they make great cars there. In the case of this hybrid, hey, it's brand new. I forecast good things for this vehicle. Yeah, it might not go 400,000 or 500,000 miles. With the hybrid drive, you got to put a little money in it, but on the other hand, it's probably going to go hundreds of thousands of miles. All you're going to have to do is change the oil. This is a brand new CX-90. They went to an inline straight 6-cylinder. They wanted to make an SUV that has plenty of low-end grunt, smooth running, but still gets good gas mileage. This is a fancy model, the inline 6, and it has a mild hybrid system. It's a boost system to give it more horsepower. And it's got plenty of horsepower. 340 to be exact. Now we can't see it because it's got the stupid beauty cover on it. So the beauty cover's going away. I won't throw it because it's a new car. I'll gently place it on the ground. And here is the monster behind it. It's turbocharged. It is an inline 6. It can go great for rear-wheel drive. Oh, this is all-wheel drive. It does all 4 wheels. You can't really fit an inline transverse if you got a front-wheel drive. So they decided, hey, we got plenty of room, and they went rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive with the 6-cylinder engine. As you can see, the back's way down here. It won't fit sideways. Now, those of you who are BMW fans generally love the smoothness of the BMW 6-cylinder engines. Now, this guy had a BMW, and he loved driving it until it got about 60,000 miles and turned into an endless money pit. Not the engine, but the rest of the car. BMW still makes pretty good engines. It's all the electronics and plastic crap that fall apart on, which is why I tell people not to buy them. This is another story. As you can see on the door, this baby was made in Japan by Japanese. That's what you want. And check the interior. I mean, it's beautiful. White, black stripe, chrome. Look at all the space in the back. And I mean space. Look at this. There's another row of seats too. They got it down. They're bringing their dog with them. But there is all kinds of space in this thing. You can see it's beautifully appointed. It's got a really nice armrest for the second row seats. And hey, this thing can carry an awful lot of stuff. It's a big vehicle. Yet driving it over here, they got 31 miles a gallon. No, I'm lying. They got 30.9 miles a gallon. Big 300 plus horsepower engine. Yet it's still got that kind of gas mileage. And this is an EPA rated gas mileage. This is actual gas mileage driving on the highway. Start it up. Now, if you know anything about Mazdas, they got a big relationship going with Toyota. So not only are they beautiful cars with beautiful colors, which they're known for, Mazda really has a thing for their paint and paint colors. This thing's beautiful. And the styling too. First they made the styling and their cars were okay, but now with their Toyota links, some of these are actually better than the Toyotas. Truthfully, driving this thing around, it feels like my wife's old Toyota Crosser, which was also a 6-cylinder inline, and she still wants that car back. Well, the paint faded, the leather seats cracked, so we got rid of it, but it was still running fine. Let's take it for a spin and I'll show you. Of course, you know, it's gonna start up. And the first thing you're gonna see is, look at the phenomenal backup camera. Wide angle view, and there's the matrix, there's my Triumph motorcycle. As you back up, everything moves. If you run into something, it's your own fault for being stupid. You don't notice anything. It's so smooth. 6-cylinder engines idle great, but when you step on the gas, they start to take off. We're gonna wait till we get to the drag strip for that, but it's high enough up in the air, not too high, but high enough. You're not gonna have problems with water. It's got all the modern stuff like this. Heads-up display, there's the speedometer. And of course, being a modern-day Mazda, handles like a dream. You wouldn't think you're driving something as big as this thing actually is. And the fact that they got 30.9 miles a gallon driving it over, it tells you, hey, this is no gas hog yet. It's got a tremendous amount of power. And it's power you can use. You don't have to wait for the turbo to spool up. It does have a turbo, but it also has, look at that. It also has mild hybrid to give it a boost. So, you got the hybrid boost and the turbo boost, so this thing does not lag. Your acceleration is real acceleration from the get-go. Not, oh, you gotta wait till it starts winding up. This is a pretty well-designed vehicle. It does have the start-stop, which I don't like, but then again, it's hybrid, so it doesn't really bother a hybrid much. You're not wearing the starter out because it uses the hybrid to start it up. Let's see what it does at the drag strip. Here we go. Smooth. Look at that. Say you're going down the road, you got to pass somebody. We'll floor it. Look how fast the speedometer gets going. It is definitely a non-lag vehicle. It does not have leg. You want to go? Step on the gas and it goes. So even though it's starting to run a little low on gas now, check it out. It's still got 100 miles left before it'll run out of gas. There is no range anxiety with this baby. You can go long distances very comfortably. These seats are phenomenally comfortable. And how does it handle the curves? We're about to find out. It says it's supposed to go 20, we're going 55. Check it out. Handles like a dream. No problem taking the 20 curve. None. Hugs the road. Being a Mazda, I do have to say, zoom, zoom, indeed. The Mazda's going for a certain type of clientele here. This guy had European cars. He liked driving them, but he hated the maintenance. His friends, Mercedes, BMWs, he hates that maintenance. He decided to try a Mazda, and so far he said he's happy as can be. You can see it's instant acceleration with the combination of the turbocharger and the hybrid boost. This baby gets up and goes without emptying your wallet. I will give you one warning. You want to get the full power out of this, you got to run it on premium gas because of its design. If you get the non-S version, it'll run on regular gas perfectly fine. There's no difference in the engine between S and the plain version. They're the same exact engine. So if you're not opting for racehorse crazy, well, what the heck? You can buy the regular version and run it on gasoline and save a lot of money when you fill it up. And here we go on the other side of the airport. Well, we're at the speed limit already. That didn't take long. It's got a nice screen that's below the hood, so it doesn't block anything while you're driving. And I do have to say, like I said before, I like the heads up. The heads up is pretty good here. I can see the speed limit. I can see how fast I'm going to compare to the speed limit here. Now, for those of you who are technically challenged, realize it gives you the speed limit with the speed limit sign only in areas where it's supported. You get in the middle of nowhere, they don't broadcast it, so you'll only get yours. I tried it in Death Valley and it didn't do anything. When I rented a RAV4, it wouldn't work there, of course. There's nothing there. You don't even have cell phone service in most of Death Valley. And we're coming up on a stop sign, so you'll see something interesting in a second probably. Here we go. We're coming up to the stop sign, and there it's got the stop sign and puts a stop sign here warning you that yes indeed, if you're not looking, there is a stop sign you're supposed to stop for. All extremely smooth riding car. As my rear end tells me, I thought it felt cool. It's got air conditioned seats too. The air conditioning's on. Does both sides, driver and passenger. And as we turn it off, yes, it has an actual 8-speed automatic transmission. This is not a CVT crapper. This is an actual 8-speed, and it performs excellently. This has got all the bells and whistles. You can cancel the road safety warning, traction control. It's got everything. Electric, auto hold, all kinds of HVAC controls. Pretty well thought out car. What do I think of it? Well, it's got one major flaw. It costs $61,900, and I'm a cheapskate, right? I'll wait till they get used once on the market because I'm a cheapskate. But considering what the average car costs, $46,000 to $50,000, this is not an average car. It is a luxury SUV. And if you ask me, their competition against the Europeans, this will eat them alive. If you remember, back in the day when Lexus first made the 400 series V8 engine, right? The second year they sold those cars in the United States, they outsold BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, all put together. As a luxury SUV, as far as I'm concerned, this kicks the Europeans' rear ends. I know how these Mazdas tend to last, especially since they've had this deal going with Toyota. This isn't going to fall apart like his BMW did at 60,000 miles. I do not see that happening, and I can feel this 6-cylinder engine. It is under stress. It's not going to wear out because it's too small of an engine. 10% larger than most of them. It's bigger than 3 liters, right? They wanted smoothness, they wanted power, and they came out with a pretty good package. As far as I can see, it's a brand new model. Who knows? Maybe I'll look like a fool and they'll fall apart, but I kind of doubt it. Not after driving this thing, feeling it, and doing research on all the technology of what Mazda's been doing with Skyactiv technology. Very interesting car if you got $61,900 to throw out. So I'll put the beauty cover back on, but I think it's stupid. Why would anybody not want to look at this beautiful engine? It's beyond me. At least this one has knobs to hold it in. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.